Hey, it's Anthony Meisner.
And Mandie Pallone.
We're here to talk to you about our top 3 things. And this is our bonus week. It's so much fun at the end of the month, but this time we're going to talk about showings. And I think there's 3 really important things you need to know about showings in 2023 because it's very different than it was a year ago.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. So, number 1 is showing activity is normalizing. So, think big picture, think pre-pandemic, right? Here is a slide to show you how insane the last 3 years have been, right? Because 2020 is the lightest number, and then it gets darker, closer to 22. And things just were not normal, right? We had shutdowns, we had tons of buyer frenzies, and then we had these markets where we had these huge peaks. Well, here we are, the orange line, and orange line is 2023, and we're kind of trending back to the point where it feels like it's increasing into a spring market, right? Spring market started more like a spring market should instead of in January, which, it kind of did the last couple of years. And we're going to continue to trend up in our showing traffic into probably April or May before it starts to taper off. So you can see that in a lot of times you have these dips that are like 4th of July or Memorial Day or Labor Day, right? And so people obviously don't shop because isn't it more fun to go do something?
Yeah. And, I think it's really important to point out too, for any agents who maybe started after the pandemic that or during the pandemic or something like that, you may not be used to a normalized market the way that it's normalizing now. And I would say pause this video, study this graph, look at and see what we've got 2020 on here, 2021, 2022. These are mostly, pandemic years, but the showings go up and down depending on the time of year. Right. And the pandemic is just not a good example.
No, and you can really see here. I mean, these are percentage changes from January 1st. So when you look at January 1st, that's kind of our baseline for the year. Mm-hmm. Well, we should have more showings for most of the year than January 1 because January 1 is really slow, right, except for maybe those holiday weekends. So even if you look at 2021 in the last quarter was probably really fairly realistic to what you would normally see, right? Mm-hmm. We had slowdowns for Thanksgiving. It really dips off towards the end of the year because of the holidays and everything else. And it's just cold and gross, right? But then we get back to the beginning of the year and it was just off to the races. So you can see that those 3 separate lines are separated by 20 to 30% per year in showings. You're definitely not going to see swings like that. I would say that if we shoot somewhere in the middle of like the 2020 numbers and the 2021 numbers, because we're going to trend down starting summertime, right? We do every year. People start to travel. It's not a convenient time to move your family because you have other stuff going on. And then it just kind of tends to trend that way all the way through fall, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to move my head to see. You're doing great. Look at this. Okay, so I want to point out the dips. And what you're seeing is the holiday weekends. So keep in mind, we have Easter coming up.
Here, let's just use a pointer and I can point to them.
Yeah. So we have Easter coming up. So what do you think? I think in history would tell us that,
so that would be like this week,
right around here. Well, I think that's March. Oh yeah, it is right when it goes right down.
Mm-hmm. This and little dip is Easter.
There's 2 giant dips right here. So
this one, the big V was when we shut the economy down.
Yeah.
Right. But May 28th, this dip right here would be our Memorial Day weekend. Uh-huh. This would be 4th of July. Mm-hmm. And then this one right here would be Labor Day.
Okay.
And then this is Thanksgiving and Christmas down here.
Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully we'll be coming into a more normalized market and see all this.
Yeah.
But spring is the time.
That way, right?
Yeah. Spring is the time. So let's also look at that because it's showing that the peak is in the spring.
Yeah. The peak of all showing traffic should take place somewhere in March or April.
Okay.
Right. It happens every year. It just depends on kind of when spring markets start. They last, 3 to 4 months or whatever. And then they just trend down because all of those buyers are either under contract or fed up. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the reality of it, right? Mm-hmm. And the first-time home buyers and those people who are forced to shop in markets that are less contentious, they end up waiting till summer and fall to shop. Or, first-time home buyers that are really not qualified, end up shopping in the fall or the winter because you shop when you can get a home under contract, right? So this is the time where well-qualified people are shopping. Lots of them are shopping. And even people who are less qualified might be shopping as well, but they just get stuck shopping longer, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to see that change. All
And
right.
if you have a listing coming up, I'd say before Easter.
Oh, for sure. I think the sooner the better. Every week right now, I would say, is better because your chance of selling is better right now than it will be later. And we'll talk about that. So here's something that's super fascinating. They measured the Denver metro market with all the other big metro markets across the country, and Denver metro has the second highest showings per home in the nation. So check this out. This came out of showing time. And so look at, there's us right there in the middle. There's Denver, 9.63 showings per listing on the market, right? So that just means that there's basically 10 homes last month that people looked at, or 10 people looked at each home that was on the market last month, right? And that's down 62% year over year. And even though our swing was bigger, it's still one of the most, that showings per listing mean that this is one of the more desirable markets in the nation, right? So this is number 2 most desirable big metropolitan area in the country, which is really exciting stuff.
Yeah, love it.
Okay, so Mandie, this one is the confusing one, but I think it's really important. Showings per listing are down 46% year over year in Boulder County.
Mm-hmm. I like that we do these because then I'm not coming from this data set. I just live it and I deal with numbers. So
what's it feel like in the market right now for your buyers?
I mean, right now, after the past couple weekends, we see a lot of buyers out. My clients are making more offers. I'm getting into multiple offer situations. This past weekend, I had some clients lose out. One lost to 11 offers.
So the craziest part about that is what this means is relatively your buyers should feel like there's half as much competition as there was a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they should feel.
Yeah.
Right. So if there are 11 offers, this is, closer to the peak of the market that we would see. It's the middle of March. That means last year would have felt like they should have been competing against 22 offers instead of 11.
Mm-hmm.
So it really is a lot less buyers out of the marketplace, right?
Mm-hmm.
This percentage just basically measures how crazy it is. And you can see, so this is historical trends that are behind us here. And if at those big peaks, those are always in the months of February or March, usually sometimes January. And that's the time where you have the best chance of selling if you're a seller. So if you're a buyer, you basically don't want to compete in that marketplace as much, but also there's not as many buyers in the market yet. So buyers increase into the spring market, sellers increase into the spring market, but there just aren't any homes on the market yet, right? So we have a shortage of inventory right now.
Yeah, and I think if you have a listing coming up or somebody who's saying, I'm going to wait till the summer or something like that, I think you can send them this video, have them take a pause and look at the graphs and see where we're seeing the peaks in showings. Because the higher the number of showings, the bigger the chance that you'll sell the house.
Right. If you're a seller, list as soon as possible. If you're a buyer, unfortunately, because of the way the market is, there's not a ton of competition right now, and you just got to compete and you got to get out there and look at it. And it may not be pleasant, but honestly, it's a heck of a lot better than last year in every way, shape, and form.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about interest rates because lots of cool stuff happened today.
I'm over it.
I'm over it too. It's not cool. It's actually super frustrating.
I mean, okay, so Feds just came out just a couple hours ago and said that we're raising the Fed funds rate by a quarter. So now we're at 5%.
Right.
And a lot of the economists were hoping that they would stop the rate hikes and that they would let inflation, it feels like a big overcorrection. Like, let's get this done, get this done, get this done. But it's happening. The rate hikes have happened so quickly that we're not letting the work that we've done kind of take over.
Because it takes 12 to 18 months for those interest rates to actually feel their full effect in the economy.
Right.
So you and I might feel it in our HELOC rates within the next month or two, but for the entire economy, car loans, really any short-term debt, right?
Yeah.
But the problem with that is none of us are really feeling the real change. So inflation peaked at 9+%, right? So they have that in the rearview mirror. And of course, the Fed's panicked a little bit about that. But then now you have banks failing because they've risen rates so fast. So I'm not a fan.
So here we are on this roller coaster. Up means good for rates, down means bad. So we've shown the charts where we've gotten better, and then we started to get a little bit worse into March. And now where the rates start to go back up is right when we got the SVB Bank news. And that's been pretty, huge, and it's been pretty volatile since. We've got two big things coming up. We were looking for the Fed rate hike today, and then in April we have another inflation report and another jobs report. I'm not the experts, okay, because I'm not feeling very good about them, and neither are the experts. So we'll see what April does, but we're really looking forward to May because we know last year's numbers for inflation and we know how they average out. And we had some low inflation reports in the beginning of last year that are going to drop off, and then it'll make the inflation look better for May. So April, not looking so hot. I'd highly recommend a lock and shop. This is where we're at now. You've seen me.
This is why the lock and shop, right? I mean, look at rates today. So these are all the way up to date through today. And this is like national averages, and they're at 6.5. I just don't think that you can get better than this for a while. Eventually they'll improve, but
yeah. So let's talk about a lock and shop, just so that, if you are out looking, or if your client's out looking, a lock and shop is a 30-day lock where you can lock in these low rates. Because if they do go up in April and your buyers are going to buy in April, number one, they're probably going to get a good price. We'll see. But they're probably going to get a better price than if they were to wait until the summer when everybody comes out and when we see interest rates come lower. So we can lock them at a little bit higher than market rate. So if we're at 6.5 today, they might have to lock at 7. It protects them though for 90 days. So if they lock at 7, let's say they lock at 7 higher than market today, and the rates get worse in April, then they'll be protected and you can still get them under contract. Also, it's a negotiating tool because we can tell the listing agent they're already locked, they're already good, and that will calm
what
them.
happens if rates go down?
If rates come down, we get to float them down. So I think if we come into May, we get the big report that we've been wanting to come out, then we can float them down once they're under contract. We have 3 days after they get under contract. Great. The one that I locked yesterday expires 6/20. So that just gave her a little bit of ease that she can sleep at night. She locked at 6.875. But I reassured her, she's really stressed. She's got to move. And I reassured her it's going to be okay. We'll float down. But at least you can sleep at night, not going on this roller coaster of interest rates.
Yeah, for sure. Because you don't want to not qualify then for a house, right? So
yeah,
that's
and
a good sign.
It's free to do a lock and shop. So highly recommend it right now. I haven't done them in a little while because we were expecting rates to be okay.
Right.
But now it's just, let's protect people. We know the inventory is coming. We know that it's going to be buying season, and we've got to be smart with our buyers and take care of them emotionally and financially.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's what we've got for you today.
Yeah.
Hopefully you enjoyed. And next week,
buyers.
Do we have buyers next week?
Yep.
7 days from now will be the 29th. We won't have buyers yet. We have another week.
Oh,
a bonus week. We have a 5th week in the month this year.
Okay, we're gonna have to come up with something good.
We will come up with something good. If you have any suggestions, throw them in the chat or throw them in the comments.
Yeah, DM us.
Look at something cool.
Yeah. Have a great weekend. Happy shopping.
Happy shopping.
Bye.